All right, let's just jump right in. There's a huge conflict at the heart of investing today, and it's not what you think. It's an epic battle between your brain, which evolved over thousands of years to survive on the savannah, and a modern market that moves in nanoseconds. I mean, come on. If that question made you wince a little, you're definitely not alone. We've all been there. And look, these aren't just beginner's blunders. Nope. These are deeply, deeply human mistakes. And they're driven by psychological forces we don't even realize are there.
So here's the game plan. We're going to dig into why losing feels so awful, pit our human instincts against cold, hard machine logic, see if our phones are secretly sabotaging us, and then throw all of that into the pressure cooker of a market bubble. And at the end, we'll wrap up with some new rules to play by.
Okay, first things first. Where does this all come from? Why do we keep making these classic and, let's be honest, expensive mistakes? Well, it all boils down to the factory settings in our brains when it comes to risk. This idea comes from some real heavy hitters, Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky. And their big idea? It's called loss aversion. And believe me, it's a huge deal in understanding why we do what we do with our money. The core concept is shockingly simple. We hate losing way, way more than we enjoy winning.
And here's where it gets crazy. They've actually put a number on it. Think about this. The pain you feel from losing, say, $100 is roughly twice as strong as the pleasure you get from gaining that same $100. It's not just a vague feeling. It's like a real, measurable weight on the scales inside your head, constantly pushing you to play it safe. So this intense fear of loss isn't just a fun fact. It has a real name and very real consequences in the market. It's called the disposition effect, and I guarantee you've felt it. It's that voice in your head that screams, sell that winner now before it goes down, and then whispers, just hold on to that loser a little longer. It'll come back. You're just trying to avoid the pain of making a loss official. Basically, your emotions are grabbing the steering wheel.
Okay, so if our brains are rigged against us, what's the fix? Well, this leads to a pretty wild comparison. Our messy, emotional human brains versus the pure, cold logic of an algorithm.
You've got us on one side, right? We're running on fear, hope, and that gut feeling that a stock is definitely going to bounce back. And then you've got the algorithm. It feels zero, nothing. It just follows the rules it's been given, totally detached from the emotional drama that we all get sucked into. So how does a trading algorithm actually work? It's honestly not as complicated as it sounds. You just give it a simple rule, something like, hey computer, if this short-term price trend crosses over that long-term one, I want you to buy. That's it. The computer then just watches, all day, every day. The second that rule is triggered, bam, the trade is made. No hesitation, no second guessing. All that human stuff, the what ifs, the anxiety, it's just gone.
Now look, you don't have to go out and become a programmer. The human approach is to basically create your own personal algorithm, a mental one. It means you sit down when you're calm and rational and you make a plan. You set your own rules for buying and selling. And then, and this is the hard part, you actually have to stick to it, even when your gut is screaming at you to do the opposite. But here's the kicker. Just when we're trying to get a handle on our own brains, there's a new twist. What if the very apps on our phones are actually designed to poke at our worst impulses? I mean, look at these modern trading platforms. They're beautiful. They're easy to use. They're kind of fun. And hey, getting more people into the market is a great thing. But they're built using tricks from video games and social media. It's called gamification. And we have to ask the hard question. Is all this slick design actually helping us be better investors, or is it just pushing us to constantly be doing something? Just think about it for a second. That little buzz in your pocket telling you a stock is up big, that's a nudge to act. You see leaderboards? That's tapping into our competitive streak. Trading with a single tap? That removes any chance to pause and think. And yeah, some apps literally shoot digital confetti at you when you make a trade, like you just beat a level in a game. Every single one of these things is engineered to get you to trade more. And this is where it all connects back. These game-like features can pour gasoline on the fire of the disposition effect. You get that notification that a stock you own is up 5%. Suddenly, that fear of losing the gain kicks in, and you're tempted to sell way too early. The CFA Institute basically confirmed this, saying these features can supercharge our worst habits. But, and this is really interesting, it's not a completely one-sided story. Some research found a pretty surprising twist. It turns out that seeing negative chatter about a stock on social media can actually help. It seems to snap people out of that hopeful trance and makes them more likely to sell a loser. So a little bit of collective pessimism might actually be a good thing for our portfolios.
Okay, so let's take everything we've talked about, our psychology, the tech, the gamified apps, and throw it into the most chaotic environment imaginable, a full-blown market bubble. This is where an investor's discipline is truly put to the ultimate test.
Now, you might think bubbles are just pure destruction, but an investor like Jeremy Grantham makes a great point. He says that all that crazy irrational money that floods into the market during a bubble, well, it actually builds things. Think of the dot-com boom. A ton of companies went bust, for sure, but it also funded the build-out of the internet we use today. So even in the madness, real innovation can happen. But then you have the flip side, perfectly captured by another great investor, Howard Marks. He basically says that being right about a bubble, but being way too early, is the same as just being wrong. If you get out too soon, you miss all the amazing gains on the way up. Timing the pop is pretty much impossible, and that's exactly what makes bubbles so tempting and so incredibly dangerous.
So how in the world do you handle that? The trick isn't trying to be a hero and call the exact top. It's about being smart. Stick with companies that have actual, business models. Maybe you put a small piece of your portfolio into the crazier stuff. A great strategy is to invest in the picks and shovels, the companies that supply the bubble, not the bubble itself. And two things are non-negotiable. Absolutely no borrowed money, and you must set your exit strategy before you even get in.
All right, we've gone deep on the psychology, the tech, and the trial by fire of a bubble. So, what do we do with all this? Let's boil it all down into a few simple rules for investing today.
Rule number 1, know thyself. Your brain isn't built for this game. You have to accept right now that the disposition effect is part of your wiring. Rule 2, understand your battlefield. That trading app on your phone isn't just a neutral window to the market. It's designed to make you act. See those nudges for what they are. And rule number 3, maybe the most important one, survival is mandatory. Participation is optional. You don't have to jump on every hype train. Your main goal is just to stay in the game long enough for your plan to work.
And that really brings us to the final thought, doesn't it? We spend all this time and energy analyzing charts and trying to figure out the market. But in an age where your phone is basically a casino in your pocket and your own emotions are working against you, maybe the biggest risk isn't in the market at all. Maybe it's in the mirror.